So there was a fragrance that was released last year that was a limited edition. It was a follow-up that was supposed to mimic the 2016 version of Invictus Aqua. Just an FYI, I haven't tried any Invictus Aqua since any of them. So I know what they're about. I just never smelled them because they weren't in stores when I was actually looking. With that said, I just got this in. I sprayed it on about an hour ago, but I'm going to be doing my first impressions into about an hour of the fragrance of... This is Invictus Aqua 2024. So without further ado, let's get it. What's good, my great smelling dudes? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Randy, aka Fragrance Dude, back at you with a first impression. Well, I'm already an hour in, so it's an hour first impression of the brand new from 2024 Invictus Aqua 2024. Before we get into it, make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you're not, hit that like and comment below and let me know if you've tried any of the other versions of 2016, 2018 and what you think of it in comparison to this one. So just an FYI, I haven't tried any Invictus Aquas in the history. So I don't know why I've never tried them. I've tried almost every other Invictus, and I've owned the original Invictus, Invictus Legend, Invictus Platinum, Invictus Victory, Victory Elixir. I've just never got to Aqua for some reason. No idea. Oh, and in the Intense, I never got to. So Aqua was a follow-up to the original Invictus, which was that kind of fruity bubblegum scent, and this was adding some aquatics into there. From what people said, is that the 2016 version was the best. And then they discontinued that, brought out a new reformulated version in 2018, which people said was also good, but not as good as 2016. But there was some arguments for both sides. Then they reformulated that. It wasn't as good, so then it was discontinued altogether. Last year, they brought back a exclusive to Europe only, which then it ended up hitting USA sites for a very short period of time, but now it is gone and back only on Paco Rabanne's website until they sell out in Europe, and then it's gone, and it's also in some duty-free stores. But today we're going to be doing my first impression of Invictus Aqua 2024, which I've already sprayed on my wrist, and the bottle's out of the box already about an hour ago, so I don't even have to cut to the dry down. I can give you guys that information now. With that said, this is what the bottle looks like. It's a frosted glass. I absolutely love that. I didn't know it was a frosted glass. I've never seen any reviews, and I've never seen the bottle, so there you go. Really, really nice. I know what it's compared to, so I know the style of DNA. But with that said, we will see. This is supposed to be a mimic of the original 2016 batch. And just an FYI, I am getting a decant of the 2016 and 2018 batches and doing a versus battle with this so that you can understand. I honestly, this style of DNA, I don't think it was going to be that big of a difference. I think it was just people complaining. But who knows? But anyway, so how does this smell? When you first spray it on, a lot of people were comparing it a lot to Rasasi Hawas. Rasasi Hawas is that plum, fruity, aquatic, musky, semi-woody fragrance, and I love that fragrance. It's very strong, and it's a lot stronger than any in these Invictuses. It's especially once it matures. Rasasi Hawas is definitely a lot stronger, and people were saying Rasasi Hawas is a clone of this. Well, just an FYI, Rasasi Hawas came out a year and a half before this. So that's not the case. And honestly, once I sprayed this, it's in the same DNA of Rasasi Hawas, but it's actually closer to Abercrombie and Fitch First Instinct together. It's a little bit brighter. It's a little bit lighter. It's not as rich. And the fruity tones almost come off more of like a bubblegum style sweet tart citrus like this one, rather than the warm plum that you get from Rasasi Hawas, which is what you get in Rasasi Hawas Ice. So I could compare this more to Rasasi Hawas Ice than the original Rasasi Hawas. With that said, if you smell this, Abercrombie First Instinct together, they're not exact, but as soon as you smell it, you automatically know that's what this style of DNA is. I actually sprayed this on, and in my head, it was like quotation marks. Is that First Instinct together just repackaged? Like, that's what it smells like to me. So it's That fruity aquatic, it's the Invictus DNA. It's exactly what you know. It's redundant to like 95% of things out there. Is it worth getting a bottle? No. It's not worth getting a bottle of this. It smells great, but so does this for 35 bucks. It's hard to find nowadays, but then Rasasi Hawas is 40 some dollars, and it's in that same style of DNA. There's so many fragrances out there nowadays that if you can get this, you can get this on scentrush.us. I don't know what the prices are overseas right now. I know it's really hard to find this right now, but you can get it on scentrush.us for, with my code DUDE5, like 122, which isn't that bad. But for an Invictus, to me, honest, you can get them on discount. It's usually like 60 or 70. To me, that is pretty bad. But Fruity Bubblegum Aquatic, it's actually not as aquatic as you might expect, but it definitely has those marine aquatic style tones. Not green or anything, but it's fruity, citrus, aquatic. Very, very, very nice fragrance. As it dries, it almost has a slight soapy nuance, but not really, and it doesn't change too drastically. If anything, that's where those aquatic tones start to pull in a bit. That's where the fruitiness and the citrus start to go into the background. But these type of fragrances, they're synthetically made. There's really not that many naturals, if at all, in them. And so when you blend this all together, you're getting a pretty linear opening into the dry down. And that's what this one is. With that said, you do get a little bit more of the musk and woods pop in, and so it's not completely redundant to have the opening in the dry from the opening to the dry down, but there's some noticeable woodiness and a little bit more of a softer feeling to it. I'm at an hour right now, and so I mean maybe it will change. Obviously, once you get further into the fragrance, those like fruity nuances and the citrus and stuff usually goes away completely, and then followed about 2 or 3 hours further into it by that bubblegum nature, and then you're left with more of this kind of like soft and warm woods, a little bit of the aquatic tones. That's what happens in these type of fragrances, so I wouldn't see this doing anything different. But yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. It's definitely more of your younger crowd, and that's what it's aimed for, but it's really in any age because they're very easy to wear fragrances. But as soon as I sprayed this on yesterday, I know my daughter liked it, and I know that my wife, she looked at me and she's like, yeah, it's good. It smells like 5 other things that you have. And for my wife to say that, who doesn't really know much about my fragrances, I gotta say, that's telling you something. There's a lot of similarities between other fragrances like this one. But honestly, don't spend the $125. If you can find this, if you can find Rasasi Hawas, if you don't like Rasasi Hawas, this is a good option. If you can't find this, obviously, I would just go with this, honestly. But if you can't find Rasasi Hawas, go with this, because this is lighter and it's a lot more wearable nowadays than Hawas. Hawas is very strong, so if you're one of the people like me that doesn't like overly strong fragrances, which Hawas is, then I would definitely go with this. As far as the performance, I don't know anything. I don't know anything about that because I'm only at an hour, so I will do a full review. I do want to wear this and get at least like 2 to 3 months worth of wears. And not just weeks. I want to get some months out of wearing this, especially into the warmer months. And then I can come back and do a full review of this in that comparison video and let you guys know. But Invictus Aqua 2024, if it does smell like 2016 version, I can understand why people absolutely loved it. It smells very, very nice. It's not doing nowadays in 2025. Since 2016, there has been an abundance of bubblegum style sweet citrus fragrances, sweet fruity fragrances, aquatic fragrances, and this is just mixing right in. I can see why they discontinued it, because it's now just one of a million, when back then it was one of 5. You know what I mean? And so nowadays, I understand what they were doing. But Invictus Aqua 2024, it's very nice. I'm glad I skipped on it last year whenever I was debating on other fragrances, but that's only because of the redundancy issues. And it smells very good, and it smells very smooth and clean and fresh. So it's an anytime season fragrance for sure. I would say it's definitely more of a daytime, fun, like going to like a garden party or whatever. I honestly don't even go to garden parties, so I don't know where the hell that came from. But with that said, it smells nice. It smells very nice, and that's about it. I don't know what else to say. If you smelled this, you smelled Hawas, you know that style of DNA. And it's Invictus mixed with that with a little bit more of an aquatic tone. And again, more of the sweet citrus and less of the sweet fruity that you get from Hawas. But I'm not going to keep you guys here any longer. It's honestly, it's redundant for me to stay here and keep bullshitting about it. But thank you guys so much. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And again, I will be back with another one. Peace out. Have a great weekend.